Hello and welcome to the National League Rugby Review Show, Round 25 highlights. We begin this week by congratulating Sedge Park on clinching the National 2 North title. They'll be playing in the third tier next year alongside National 2 East and West winners Blackheath and Leicester Lions. Speaking of National 1 then, that is where our focus is again this week, because there's so much still to play for at the top and the bottom of the division. We're here at Billesley Common this afternoon to watch Birmingham Moseley take on Taunton Titans, but we start with this absorbing title race with Rams RFC, Sale FC and Cambridge all still pushing for a place in the Championship. It might be the Grand National this weekend, but here's how the runners and riders looked in National 1 before the start of the day. After Sale FC's win over Rams 2 weeks ago, just 5 points separated the top three sides, with Cambridge also having a game in hand to come. Before we see Cambridge's trip to Hull and Sale FC's visit to Roslin Park, we head to Old Bath Road, where Rams entertain Cinderford.
You couldn't hide the disappointment within the Rams' ranks after their loss to Sale, but smiles were back on faces at Old Bath Road after 24 minutes against Cinderford, as they led 19-0 thanks to scores from James McRae, Ollie Cole and Axel Calling-Smith. 2 tries from the visitors on either side of the break did make it slightly edgy in Berkshire, but any fears of a nail-biting afternoon were lifted as Rams ran in 3 further tries to secure the crucial bonus point and ultimately the victory, despite receiving 4 yellow cards during the afternoon. Cinderford, to their credit, stuck at it as Nathan Taylor and Mike Wilcox dotted down late on, but this was a major tick in the box for Rams' title hopes. Now we've seen the league leaders, we move to Sale FC, who headed to the capital, still buoyed by their win over Rams in round 24. The northwest side knew travelling to 4th place Roslin Park wouldn't be easy, but they led 12-7 at half-time thanks to a score from Fergus Mulcrone and this superb try from James Harper. Park pulled it level when Joe Lucas Smith darted over, but Sale kept their cool to score 3 unanswered tries. Jordan Tebbett and Ollie Longmore both burrowed over either side of a penalty try to seal a bonus point success, which keeps Sale's promotion hopes alive. With the top 2 both collecting maximums, how would Cambridge fare against bottom of the table Hull? Well, like in their most recent meeting with Leeds Tykes, the Blood and Sand showed no mercy and blasted their way to the bonus point inside 28 minutes. Despite falling behind after Mike Adlard had crossed early on, Kieran Frost, Anthony Macca, Ben Brownlee and Joe Tarrant all went over, and 3 more tries before the break highlighted Cambridge's sheer dominance. The visitors kept their foot on the pedal, with Brownlee completing the hat-trick, while in the second period Will Priestley, Matt Williams, Kwaku Aziedu and Steph James all scored, with the only respite for Hull coming via Joe Barrett's effort.
So the title race is going down to the wire. With all 3 sides collecting maximums, it means Cambridge still hold the cards, because if they win both of their remaining games with a bonus point, they will clinch promotion to the Championship. On the final day then, Rams visit Esher, Sale FC host Birmingham Moseley, while Cambridge travel to 5th place Plymouth Albion, but more promotion talk to come later in the show. So that was the state of play at the top of the table, but what did the bottom of the division look like before the start of the weekend? With Leeds Tykes and Hull already down, as it stands, only 1 relegation spot remains in National 1. There is a very small possibility that in the event of no relegation from the Championship this term, only 2 teams will go down from the 3rd tier, a decision that is pending at an RFU council meeting this week. But before kick-off on Saturday, it was Taunton Titans who were the occupants of that unwanted final position. They were 2 points off Esher, who travelled to Darlington Monan Park, while our focus was here at Billesley Common, with Taunton taking on Birmingham Moseley. So what does this afternoon have in store for us then in National 1? So much talk around the title race, but it's equally as intense at the bottom of the division, with DMP hosting Esher this afternoon, while Birmingham Moseley get us underway against Taunton. Mo's just looking to take advantage of some early decent territory as Marsh flings it out to Lewis. Lewis out to Agodo. Agodo trying to get over the line. He does get over the line. Perfect start for the home side. Well, Moseley not settling for the 3 points given the magnitude of this game. Some sides might have taken the points and banked it and moved on, but Moseley looking for the full 5 here to extend their lead inside the opening sort of 12 to 15 minutes here at Billesley Common. They're rumbling forward now. Are they over? They are over, and it's that man, Ollie Steadman. Well, if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle, and Birmingham Moseley have got the full 7 from that decision to go to the corner. Well, some Moseley supporters are a bit disgruntled at the penalty which Taunton have kicked to the corner and are now looking to profit from went against them. But the away side won't care at the moment. They're rumbling forward now with George Gosling in control. Another penalty is coming, but the hooker dots down. Good time for Taunton to score. And George Warboys just add the extras. With Moseley's Dan Lewis in the sin bin and Taunton's Sam Pryor also yellow carded, it was the home side who were next to score. And after Sam Poynton's weaving run, it set the platform for hooker Sam McNulty to dot down from close range. And Lewis is back from his 10 minutes on the sidelines to add the conversion for the home side. And now Moseley opting for the 3 points. Can they stretch their lead to 15 points themselves? And Dan Lewis makes no mistake again. And Warboys now looking to make something happen for Taunton. Finds Faye Waboso, and here goes the centre for Taunton. He's broke free. Oh, that's a lovely step inside as well. And Faye Waboso will go under the sticks for Taunton. And Warboys left with the conversion, which is meat and drink for him. And Petheridge will now look to the skies with the box kick. It looks pretty contestable, but falls nicely now to Vakalutakali. And the Taunton man's looking to break free here. Oh, and he's put his foot down. And Taunton are going to score again here. What a start to the second half. Well, whatever Tony App said at half-time, it's rubbed off on his players. It's now a one-point game. Birmingham Moseley look absolutely shell-shocked here. Billesley Common is fallen quiet for now. Here's Petheridge into Vakalutakali. Again, he's setting off again. Is the Taunton man. And he's through again. Vakalutakali's going to score again. Unbelievable turnaround here. Well. Taunton now find themselves in front of Warboys. His conversion just hits the uprights and goes over to add to the drama. Birmingham Moseley now looking for a reaction here. It's been a breathless second half, and Taunton now find themselves 6 points ahead, which seemed unthinkable at half-time. But we've seen Birmingham Moseley benefit from this position already in the game through Stedman and McNulty. They're looking to try and move forward again here. They're still going forward, and they're going very, very close. Again, nothing from the referee so far. Stedman peels away, and Stedman does score to dot down. So Lewis now to give Birmingham Moseley the lead again. Oh, that's a wonderful kick from the fly half. And Warboys to put Taunton back in front with a penalty. Does so. Now Lewis to try and give Birmingham Moseley the slender advantage again. And what's been a brilliant second half. And that's off the post and over. It's been a roller coaster of emotions in the stands here at Billesley Common in the last 10 minutes. The clock is very much in the red now, and Mose will look to clear their lines, which they will do, and they've secured the victory, which keeps them in National 1 for another year.
I thought it was a good game from both sides. I thought we started really well, went into half-time with a deserved lead. Second half, fair play to Taunton. They certainly identified a couple of areas where they thought they could exploit us, and they did. And it was nip and tuck for best part of the game, but I felt the better side won. And we've had a bit of disruption this week due to injuries and a couple of people having to pull out on the day of the game. So I thought the way the lads rallied round and the added pressure of being at your last home game, I thought the boys were superb. Really proud of the performance. It wasn't polished by any means, but it had grit, determination, and everything that we're looking for.
And what kind of messages were being brought on, Adam, when it did kind of bring ball back to a one-score game? Is it like a one-point game at one point, and then obviously Taunton just edging themselves in front?
I can't repeat that on camera. No, it's just about composure, isn't it? Reality is a lot of rugby is not physical; it's mental, and it's making sure we don't stop playing. It's easy to sit back on a lead, and I felt that the way the lads kept going at it in the second half, especially when we were a couple of points adrift, and Dan to step up and take the 3 points the way he did was outstanding.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Where we are in the season and what we've left ourselves to do, it obviously makes it a difficult situation and a task coming here. Credit to Moseley, they came out pretty strong in the first half, and we gave ourselves a pretty big job in the second half of what we have to come out to do. But the messages went in second half. We need to come out firing, and I think credit to the lads. There's a couple of exceptional performances out there, but unfortunately, look, come up to Moseley, go within a point, score 30. It's not a bad day at the office. There's 2 points from next week's Leeds at home, which we look forward to, and back at home always helps as well.
Well, that's how it played out here at Billesley Common. But what would Darlington Monan Park at Esher serve up in the North East? Here's highlights from that game and the rest of the action in National 1.
Darlington Moden Park knew a victory over Esher would leave them in a strong position to avoid the drop, and their fast start in the North East showed they meant business. A double from Yari Fantini and a penalty from Ali Leddingham put DMP 15-0 in front, but Esher sparked into life as Luke Peters dotted down before the break. Sam Morley and Leddingham then exchanged penalties, but a try from Esher's Fergus Donnelly set up a tense finale. However, DMP's hero of the afternoon, Fantini, stepped up, and his hat-trick proved to be enough to clinch the win for the hosts, who also confirmed their safety in National 1. With Roslyn Park falling at home to Sale FC, Plymouth Albion had the chance to close the gap if they have ambitions of finishing in the top 4. But at half-time against Leeds Tykes, those aspirations have been dented, as tries from James Williams, Harry Dukes and Rhys Williams made it 21-12 to the home side. However, this has been a really solid campaign for Albion, and they showed why they are towards the right end of the league, as 4 tries in the second period from Finlay Richardson, Charles Groves, Harry Wilkinson and Craig Duncan turned the game around for the visitors. It's hard to ignore the feel-good factor around Chinner at the moment. 4 wins from their previous 5 games have secured their safety in National 1, and this week the club announced that Nick Easter would remain as their director of rugby for next season. The Black and Whites were seemingly moving in the right direction, and that was evident against Bishop Stortford as they built a 26-12 lead thanks to tries from Kieran Goss, Will Feeney, Jason Worrell and Will Blackmore. Stortford had kept in touch throughout the contest and levelled things up via Francis Moore and Matt Riddington, but the never-say-die attitude Easter has instilled in Chinner shone through as a try from Will Cave and a penalty from Tom Price sealed the win. Well, what a weekend of National 1 rugby that was. Throughout the entirety of this campaign, the third tiers kept us on the edge of our seats, and it seems fitting that we head into the final weekend of the season with so much still on the line. So to recap then, the top 3 all picked up maximums, meaning we go into the final day with just 5 points separating the title challengers. Down at the bottom, victories for Birmingham Moseley and Darlington Moden Park mean they've avoided relegation, which leaves Taunton Titans and Esher battling it out to stay in National 1. With the RFU Council meeting taking place this week, both could already be safe, but as it stands, Taunton need to get a result at home to Leeds Tykes and hope Esher stumble against Rams if they're to beat the drop.
So with all the stories and narratives wrapped up in National 1, we begin the rest of our roundup in National 2 North, where Huddersfield hosted Sheffield. We start at Lockwood Park, where visiting Sheffield had lost 4 consecutive games and were desperate to avoid a 5th straight defeat. They needn't have worried though, as Anthony Poser's side ran riot, scoring 8 tries, 4 of which came in the final 10 minutes, but their excellent afternoon was opened by a stunning break from Ewan Cook. It was 20-15 to Sheffield at one point in the second half, and the hosts were in with a shout after 60 minutes, but Liam Parfitt and Lewis Bradley saw yellow as Huddersfield imploded. Across the league, all eyes were fixed on Park Lane. Tabletoppers Sedge Park knew a victory over Sheffield Tigers would be enough to clinch the National 2 North title, and Scott Barrow's side didn't muck about. This was a performance worthy of champions. Sedge secured the bonus point inside the first 25 minutes, and it set the tone for the rest of the afternoon. They were ruthless in the second period, scoring 5 further tries, with Matt Riley taking his individual tally to 4, as the Tigers confirmed their return to National 1 for the first time in a decade.
Yeah, it's ideal, wasn't it? I think, the win up at Sheffield 2 weeks ago, we knew that would give us an opportunity today to win the title in front of our friends, family, supporters, everyone associated with the club. So it would have meant more to us winning it here than up at Sheffield in the nicest possible way. But yeah, we've been focused, so we knew exactly what we had to do. Obviously, there was going to be bits of nerves and stuff like that, but as soon as the whistle went, I think, as you've seen by the scoreline, by half time, I think they just quickly went out the window, and fair play to the lads, they delivered today. Our goal was promotion after last season. I think if we'd have gone up last season, it'd probably been a season too early. You get the disappointment, you learn how to win big games, and you learn what big games mean and how to get up for them. And last year we dropped points with the teams around us, and this year we've taken points off the likes of Fylde. We've won and drawn against Fylde, and then we beat Rotherham home and away, and other teams around us, we beat Ionians home and away. So we learnt a lot from last year, and I'm just ecstatic we've managed to do it this year.
It's hard to follow the league champions in the running order, but it's only right we should, as Fylde have pushed Sedge Park all the way this season. Their battling win over Otley wouldn't affect the destination of the title, but this was still a solid victory for Chris Breers and Alex Loney's men. A game littered with yellow cards allowed Fylde to move into a 14-3 lead, but their own indiscipline stopped them from taking the game away from Otley until the final 10 minutes. Cole Potts and Connor Wilkinson went over as Fylde signed off from Woodlands by maintaining their unbeaten home record. Over in the Yorkshire Dales, Wharfdale were on the hunt for back-to-back wins. The home side flew out to a 19-0 lead thanks to Reece Green, Henry McNabe and Josh Walters, but Chester did get 2 of their own before the break due to some indiscipline from the home side. However, 3 tries in 16 second-half minutes for Wharfdale set them on their way, as replacements Ryan Carlson and Ryan Hodgson both touched down. Chester fought back for a try bonus, but Dale ended their campaign at the Avenue on a winning note. To Clifton Lane now, where Rotherham hosted Preston. While both sides were in reasonable form coming into this weekend, it was the Titans who extended their recent run of success. The hosts stormed out to a 19-point advantage by the 30-minute mark, with Hoppers yet to score a point. Things went from bad to worse for Alex Key's side, though, after they were shown a red card. Preston did respond through Will Clapham, but Zach Poole and Jack Headley sealed a 4th straight win for Gary Pearce's side. Back in February, Harrogate had hammered Bladen 43-0 at Rudding Lane in front of the National League Rugby Review show cameras, but the North East outfit were able to exact their revenge on the penultimate weekend of the season. Harrogate led 12-7 at the break thanks to a Harry Yates brace, but a blistering start to the second period for Bladen was vital for keeping them in contention. Every revenge story needs a hero, and stepped forward Jadira Abona, who helped himself to a hat-trick to ensure Bladen successfully turned the tide in their favour. I dare anyone to tell Hull Ionians there is nothing to play for at this stage of the season. Too scared to do it? Thought so. After scoring 105 points in their last 2 matches, their ruthless streak continued against Tynedale as the Eyes looked to secure a 3rd place finish. The home side scored 45 unanswered points in the first half by a magnificent 7 different try scorers, led off by Alfredo Salella. Tyne's only respite throughout the afternoon was Chris Wearmouth's try, sandwiched in between second half efforts for Joe Makin and Sam Wilson. Well, here is how the official penultimate weekend of the season played out in National 2 North, and it was very much home comfort, with only Sheffield experiencing that winning feeling on the road. Sedgley Park's scintillating victory over Sheffield Tigers means their decade-long wait to return to National 1 is now over, while Fylde will have to settle for another top 3 finish. Down at the bottom, Sheffield's win moved them above both Huddersfield and Preston Grasshoppers, while Wharfdale have sights set on concluding the season in the top half after back-to-back wins. Over to National 2 East now, and we'll see a huge clash between North Walsham and Rochford 100 very shortly, but we begin our wrap-up on Friday night as Guernsey Raiders entertain Bury St Edmunds.
Bury St Edmunds arrived in Guernsey still in with a chance of finishing in the top 4, and they led this contest 14-12 at the break. Mike Stanway and Kieran Leeson had crossed for the Wolfpack, but the Raiders responded through Callum Roberts and Anthony Armstrong. Oliver Saddleton and Roberts then swapped scores to keep this contest in the balance, but despite 2 yellow cards for the visitors, Matt Bursey and Harry Hall got Bury over the line as they sealed their 4th away win on the spin. Blackheath's first game as champions saw them suffer only their 3rd defeat of the season, but on their return to Well Hall, James Shanahan's men highlighted exactly why they're heading back to National 1. After Stephen Leonard had opened the scoring, the flanker went over just before the break, and he was joined by Jake Lloyd to make it 19-0. Before the start of the day, Worthing still had the chance of finishing in 2nd place, but the Raiders were blown away by a Blackheath blitz as 4 tries in an 18-minute window put this contest to bed. Curtis Barnes did go over for the visitors, but Marcus Bircham's score only added to the party atmosphere in the capital as Blackheath maintained their perfect record of 13 successive bonus point wins at home. Nigel Dudding is certainly one of the good guys in National League Rugby, and the Henley Director of Rugby was given the ideal send-off at Dry Lees as he prepares to call time on 50 years at the club. The bonus point win over Canterbury represented 5 straight victories for the Hawks, but they were 17-15 behind at the break, thanks to scores from Tom Halliday and Ian Irvin, as well as a penalty try. But Henley's power up front, along with the boot of Max Titchener, helped them turn this contest around, as Morgan McRae was at the double for the hosts, while Canterbury did fight back to secure a try bonus. Now to the biggest game of the National 2 East season. At the start of the day, North Walsham were just 1 point clear of Rochford 100, who occupied the final relegation spot. And it was the home side who blasted out of the blocks in this crucial clash. Scores from Connor Dudley, James Knight and a penalty try saw the hosts not only build up a 24-0 lead, but secure a bonus point, leaving Rochford with a mountain to climb. But Danny Clear's men have demonstrated their fighting spirit in recent weeks, and they did so again in Norfolk. 4 unanswered tries, including a brace from Rob Gardner, saw the away side move 28-24 ahead, but for the second game running, North Walsham would have the final say, as another score from Dudley clinched a massive victory for the Vikings. The result at Norwich Road meant North Walsham were now 4 points above the drop zone. So what could fellow relegation candidate Sevenoaks produce at Tunbridge Judeans? Well, this Kent derby went the way of the home side, and they led 12-0 courtesy of tries from Brian Hodson and Hugo Watson. Despite 2 yellow cards, the visitors did bring themselves back into this contest via the boot of Ben Adams, but they were to be denied any points from their short trip to the Slade, as Duncan Tout's score secured the local bragging rights for TJs, while Sevenoaks are still fighting for their safety. Since losing to Old Albanian at the start of February, Barnes have stitched together a run of 7 straight wins, but they found themselves 14-13 down to OAs in their latest encounter. A brace for Wilson EJ put their noses in front, but after scoring through Alex March and Jordan Suter in the first period, Barnes started the second 40 on the front foot. Alex McLean-Nelson and Paul O'Dell both touched down for a 9-point lead, and despite John Kenwood's try setting up a tense finish, the boot of Simon Keller ensured Barnes extended their winning sequence. That bonus point success also secured a second-place finish for Barnes in National 2 East, meaning Dorking will now be targeting a bronze medal. This maximum against Westcliff means they will almost certainly finish in 3rd spot, which would represent an excellent campaign for the Red and Whites. They were level at the break as Toby McRae's score was cancelled out by a penalty try, but Dorking took the game away from their hosts in the final quarter. Jasper King, a double from Ryan Jeffrey, and further efforts from Fred Dalton, Finn Osborne and Johnny Ellis completed the win for the away side. 53 tries were scored on the second to last weekend in National 2 East, meaning supporters got to consume some entertaining rugby. In the top half of the table, Barnes' success over Old Albanian means they will finish in 2nd spot, while 1 point for Dorking from their last game of the season against Blackheath will see them end the campaign in the top 3. Down at the bottom, there's much more jeopardy going into the final day. North Walsham's victory over Rochford 100 means they require just 1 point against Canterbury this coming weekend to avoid the drop. As for Sevenoaks, they must match or better what Rochford 100 do on the final day to stay afloat. Adam Bowman's side host Westcliff, while Rochford entertained Tunbridge Judeans, a team they did beat on the opening weekend of the season.
And lastly, we go to National 2 West and we head to Redruth, where Loughborough students were the visitors. With a university final to come on Wednesday, you could forgive Loughborough students for having one eye on that occasion, but the Midlands club are targeting a strong finish in National League Rugby. Scrum half Charlie Brares passed the test in the first half, as his double helped the away side lead 28-12 against Redruth. A penalty try just before the half-time whistle for the hosts set the platform for them to press on, as Dan Rutter and Luke Barnes both scored. However, Loughborough had the last word, as Jasper Cameron's try was enough for the win. Loughborough's university final on Wednesday is actually against Exeter University, and while the Midlands institution prepared for it by sealing a win, the Green and Whites couldn't follow suit. Up against league winners Leicester Lions, this was always going to be a tall order, and the champions led 14-5 at half-time. After the break, A brace from Devon Constant, along with scores from Jamal Hamilton and Zach Bean, saw the Lions roll to their 19th successive win as they took their overall points total for this term up to 118. For the start of the day, Barnstable knew the odds for them to avoid relegation from National 2 West were stacked against them, but they could delay their fate from being sealed if they were to beat bottom of the table Stourbridge. The Chiefs set out to do just that, as Dom Robson, Ryan Lee, Will Tops and George Snell all went over for a 33-7 half-time lead. However, 3 tries in 9 minutes for Stour cut that deficit to just 7 points, but Dan Johnson's effort and the hat-trick score for Tops got Barnstable over the line. Even though Barnstable had secured a bonus point success, fellow relegation candidates Bournville knew just 2 points from their remaining 4 matches would keep the Chocos in the division. But this wasn't a straightforward tick in the box for the Midlands outfit in an entertaining contest against Hornets. Bournville went in front early on and never relinquished their lead throughout. Hornets did produce a late resurgence through 2 close-range tries and an effort from Connor Vickery, but a score from Jamie Harding settled any nerves as Bournville confirmed their safety.
Yeah, a great result for us today in the victory over Hornets and making sure we secure our spot in National 2 West for next season. You know, Hornets, fair play to them, came and they threw the ball about and made life difficult at times for us, but we were delighted the boys, you know, we stuck on task and managed to secure the win and secure our place in this league next season. With two games to go, it gives us the freedom to enjoy our footy for the next fortnight as the season comes to a close.
Since suffering a defeat against Hinckley in the middle of February, all Redcliffians have lost on just 2 occasions, and their encouraging end to the campaign continued in round 25. This time, the Midlands club were no match for Old Reds, as the hosts smashed their way to a 26-7 half-time lead. Donald Farmer continued the scoring for the home side after the interval, and this absorbing contest concluded with 4 tries in the final 10 minutes, 2 for each side, as Old Reds wrapped up the half-century. Newport Salop surged to securing their place in National 2 West for next season. Arguably began with a victory over Dings back in February, but this time around the Crusaders came out on top and did so in style. 5 first-half tries, including 2 for Matt Jones, had the home side 29-7 in front, and they didn't look back. Tom Knight's effort was followed by Tom Wilstead completing his hat-trick, and while Newport got 3 tries of their own to secure a bonus point, a brace from Chris Rovey capped off an excellent afternoon for Dings. With Clifton looking to finish in the top 2 and Luctonians to top 4, the phrase dead rubber didn't apply to this contest at Mortimer Park. It looked like it would be even Stevens at the break with the sides locked at 14 all, but Ben Link's brilliant score on the stroke of half-time put the hosts in front. The away side hit back immediately after the interval with Dan Wells and Will Owen going over, but a second for Link and one from front row partner Conor Deignan means Lux have now done the double over Clifton and have also secured 4th place for this term. An outrageous 77 tries were scored in this division, which suggests no thought of the beach or summer holidays have crept into the minds of any of the National 2 West clubs just yet. Clifton's loss to Luctonians is significant for 2 reasons, as Dean's Crusaders are now moved into 2nd spot, while Lux have now secured their highest ever finish in National League Rugby. At the bottom, Barnstable's time in the 4th tier is up, as despite their win over Stourbridge, they have been relegated following Bournville's victory against Hornets. Well, that's it from a breathtaking contest at Billesley Common, where Birmingham Moseley's narrow win and Darlington Monan Park's victory over Esher means both sides are safe from the drop. We'll wait to see how the rest of the relegation picture pans out, while at the top, the title challengers didn't put a foot wrong. It means we're set for a thrilling finale next weekend, so whatever you're doing, cancel those plans and join us on the National League Rugby Review Show.